We'll get started in just about another minute. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I believe Steve Scott's going to be here shortly. We're going to kick this off so that we're not keeping anyone waiting. So welcome everyone to our second to last 90-day run call. My name is Keith Chasson. My wife Jamie and I were double diamonds with Neumi. We've been here since April 16, 2022. It's kind of when we got it kicked off. We were just kind of keeping to ourselves, mind our own business one Saturday morning in April 2022, just drinking some coffee, enjoying the morning. And a friend of ours sends us this message, sent it to Jamie. And it was a video. It was actually a video and an audio. The audio came first, the audio recording came first, the video came second. And so she was playing the video, and the video was talking about, can your skincare do this? And she starts playing the video, and I'm listening. She's watching. Her eyes are getting kind of big, and she's getting excited. She goes, man, if this could really do this, you know. And I'm like, what? And so she's sharing it with me, and then she plays the next video or the next recording. And what I heard when she played the next one, it talked about a lot of things about how supplements evolving, things are changing. But what I heard was nanosublingual and glutathione. And when I heard that, I was kind of brought back in time to 2004, 2005, in that time period. My mom was really, really sick, and I was doing a lot of research on the human immune system. And a lot of what I researched brought me back to this one molecule, this glutathione, this thing called glutathione. I'm like Steve. Whenever I first heard it, I was like, they said glutathione. I said, gluta what? Because I'd never heard of it, right? But the more I dove into it, the more I learned that it was a highly important molecule within our body, that it was involved in hundreds of different processes. I've since learned it's over 400, and 15 of those are highly critical to life itself. And so what I learned mostly back then was how the delivery system really mattered and made a difference, because in our gut, in the human gut, we have an enzyme. It's called GGT, stands for gamma glutamyl transferase. And that enzyme is highly destructive to glutathione and the precursor to glutathione. It's because of the sulfhydryl, the sulfur arm, and on the cysteine amino acid and the whole molecule glutathione. It causes it to break and destroys it in the gut, and so it's not useful once it passes through the digestive system. So what I learned was that it just wasn't all that easy to do to get it upregulated into the cell. So I wasn't excited about that, but I also learned that that IV glutathione was really difficult as well, only to the point of the expense. There's a lot of reasons why glutathione IVs are still not the best method. However, they are a whole lot better than oral supplementation. But through an IV, it would take about an hour to push it or drip it through. And don't forget to make me maybe a co-host back, Sean. I see you fooling around in there. But it was the half-life of glutathione. Every 90 minutes, it's about half as effective as it was when you first took it. And as a result, you'd have to go every 2 or 3 days, simply just to continue getting benefit from that form of supplementation. And so I'd prayed back then, if somebody can just come out with a way to deliver supplemental glutathione and get it into the cell, bypass the gut and get it right into the cell, I felt that they could really significantly change the wellness of humanity on a global scale. So that's what I saw or heard that Saturday morning when that recording said nanosublingual glutathione. And so as a result, I ordered. I ordered it and got it coming in. I was excited that it only took 3 days. So it was 3 days after Easter, the Wednesday, we get it in, and I'm busting the bottle open. I'm swishing. Jamie's swishing. And I was excited to do so. And here's why. I had injured myself about a year prior. And when I'd injured myself, the I tried everything you could imagine to mitigate the discomfort that was created by the injury that I sustained. I was carrying a mattress up a couple flights of stairs, and I go left into the condo, and the weight shifts right, and I feel everything rip in my neck and in my shoulder. The discomfort just radiated into my arm, my right arm, and it was so great that it would wake me up in the middle of the night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. I was up putting a pot of coffee on because I couldn't go back to sleep. And it was when I tell you, on a scale of 1 to 10, one, there was no discomfort. 10, it was so extreme, I'd want to like cut my arm off. It was about a 12. It was intense. And you do anything, you think about what you would do with that level of discomfort to try to mitigate it so that you can sleep at night. Well, whatever you think you would do, I did it. Capsules, lotions, potions, pills, powders. I went to see a sports therapist, a chiropractor in Cocoa Beach. I did it all just so I could try to get some relief. And nothing would take the edge off enough where I can get a full night's rest. And so I was excited when I heard about the technology, and that's why I ordered it as fast as I did. I got it in. I started swishing literally for me. Now, I'm not saying this is for everybody, but for me, within 48 hours, it had reduced things enough to the point where I actually, for the first time, got a full night's sleep. And when I woke up that Friday morning, I had zero discomfort in my neck and my arm and my shoulder. And ever since then, that's almost over 2 years ago, has not returned. I'm back to my full body weight exercises. I'm able to throw my grandkids on my back and horse around with them and do foot races, all the things that I could do before the injury. So me personally, I feel like I owe my future to the technology of this product. And I couldn't be more excited. And then on top of that, I learned about the folks leading the charge. I learned about Stephen K. Scott, author of The Richest Man Who Ever Lived. There it is. And that's just one of the 15 books he's authored. And but this is the one I knew him for because I'd read it a few times. And I really, this is one of them books that you want to read a few times and get his, because there's a lot of information there, a lot of things that can really change the direction of your life if you let it. And so I got excited to know that that man was behind this movement. And then I got to meet, there you go, Ronan. All right, brother. I got to meet Aaron Renner, the CEO, and just listening to him on a Zoom call one-on-one, I can feel his heart, his compassion, together with Steve's. And then I got to meet the whole crew. We went out to Utah in February of 2023. We got invited out there. We met the whole crew. We toured the office, saw the facility, and all these things together combined brought to bear what I consider. Now, I mentioned Jamie and I have been in the industry since 1989, but all these things brought to bear what I consider the single most opportunity for anyone if they want something that they can feel good about, inviting their friends to, their family to. They're not embarrassed by it. They're happy to share it because the products work, the leadership works, the whole opportunity works. With no further ado, I'm going to introduce to you guys the man that really made it all happen. And I couldn't I couldn't be more thankful for Steve and Scott. Steve, go ahead and unmute, brother. Take it away.
Myself there. We're unmuted. Ta-da! Keith, thank you for that. And I got back to the office from lunch. We had a corporate lunch, and I got back in time. But one of our leaders here that has Neumi family members all over the world now was in our conference room with someone brand new that he's talking to. And his name is Idolo, if any of you know him. And he motioned me to come on in, and I completely forgot what the time was. The moment I walked through that door, here I'd been telling the guys at lunch, we got to be back before 2. We got to be back before 2. And then completely forgot. But I'm so grateful to be here, so grateful for all of you, so grateful for all the things that we're learning. I'm very, very excited about the new product we're about to release that we will be showcasing at our birthday party in 2 weeks. And we've been getting reports. We've given it to people who are everyday circumstances like you and me, don't want to forget, want to remember, want to be mentally sharp. I've tried it quite a few times and I absolutely love it. But we've got some people in desperate need for it. And there we are seeing those desperate needs really impacted in a glorious way. It is amazing. And I'm supposed to call one of them in Canada today and hear her story because her upline contacted me and he said, "You will not believe this story." And I love good stories. I'm still waiting to hear Christy Price. I'm still waiting to hear your personal story. We've heard about the horses, and that has excited me beyond belief for a whole bunch of reasons. But Keith mentioned that you have a great story, and but I guess it can only be told over the phone and not in a format like this because it tends to go into a medical area like so many of you have had results. Keith is borderline on whether or not it's medical or not, but it changed his life. It gave him his life back. And we've done that with a lot of people. When you lose hope, life is really hard. And in this country, we have over 200 military veterans commit suicide every day because they lose hope. And we have a number of things that give hope. And that's one thing that drives me, is that our hope isn't unsustainable hope. It's a true hope. And I found out in my first company, network marketing company that I owned, that when you can meet a person's physical needs and their financial needs, then they'll listen to you about the more important things, including their spiritual needs, because we live in a needy world. We've got a lot of stuff going around with, and honestly, when a person loses hope, it's so sad. And so I think on one of our recent occasions this week, I gave a definition for hope. And I'll give it to you one more time, because this is so important, because Neumi, you as a Neumi family member, can give a person hope on so many different ways, in so many different ways. When you understand what real hope is and how we qualify as hope givers. But if you were to study the subject of hope, and there's hope that is like that, and there's hope that's sustainable. And and there's hope that's sustainable. And so I want to talk about the sustainable hope for a moment. For those of you that don't know, I lost 9 jobs in my first 6 years after college, but I never lost hope. Even when my degree from the business college at Arizona State University was in marketing, and the marketing guru of Philadelphia, one of the most respected marketers in America, called me into his office, big 3,500 people company, employees. And he says, "Steve, you're the single greatest disappointment in my entire career. You will never succeed in marketing. You have 20 minutes to clean out your desk." Now, as crushing as that was, and it was devastating because I had no money. I had rent coming up the next month, and I had a wife and a child, my first child, a baby, 9 months old. What am I going to do? And but the reality is, no matter what I went through, and I went through some trying times, just like everybody on this call, I'm sure, but I had hope, because my hope was anchored into concrete. And when you anchor your hope into something that is concrete, that can endure any storm, you can get through it. And my anchor, honestly, was in God. Uh, my life's been up and down so many times. I read a thing online today, and it said, a guy said, one thing that amazes me, so many times I have given God a reason to turn his back on me and never look at me again, but he never turns his back on me. Whoa, that's pretty cool. And so I always had hope. So we'll give this definition again. This is one you can teach people, and you literally can change their lives with this definition, because real quickly they can see where their hope is. And if your hope is anchored into sand, guess what comes out of sand? That anchor comes right up. If it's anchored in water, not in the ground, I mean, if it's just, it come right up. But when it's anchored in concrete, when your hope's anchored in concrete, storms of life come and go. And so here's the definition: the well-founded, and that's what you underline, the well-founded, confident belief that that which is committed, or I'm sorry, promised, committed, or pursued will be achieved within a specific amount of time. But the underlying thing is the well-founded, confident belief. I never lost my confidence in God. He proved himself so many times. Even when I was in my deepest despair, one time it lasted for 4 years, and turned my back on God, he was always there. He never forsook, and he had reason. He had reason to give up on me, and he never gave up on me. It was amazing. And so we at Neumi, our anchor is in concrete when it comes to representing our technology and our products. The well-founded, confident belief that that which is promised, pursued, or committed will be achieved within a specific amount of time. Our concrete is twofold. Number one, it's science. There are 184,000 published studies on glutathione. Glutathione is at the core of health, recovery, longevity, how we go through our day physically, how we go through our day mentally, how we go through our day emotionally. It impacts the hormonal system of every human being. It impacts the, I guess we call that the endocrine system, but your body relies on amino acids. Your body makes about 7,000 amino acids that are critical to life, and not one of them can be manufactured without the intervention of glutathione. And so our science is the primary ingredient in the concrete. Concrete's made out of sand, rock, and water. That's it. And so it really has two ingredients plus water. Well, ours has the two critical ingredients. It has the science that is proven over and over and over again. And I love, people will say, hey, do you think this would help with such and such? And I'll say, I'll call you right back. I Google such and such and glutathione, and up come the studies. It's crazy. And they're not on our product. They're on glutathione. So glutathione is not only the science, but glutathione is the sand of that concrete. The technology is the rock, or yeah, the rock. Well, let's see. I'll have to figure this analogy out. I won't waste your time. But sand, rock, and water. And our science is solid. Our science is 1,000,000 times more solid than the vaccines during COVID. those were real shaky. Some people they helped, some people they didn't help, some people they were damaging to. Those are the studies that are coming out now. Yes, cement. Thank you. Cement is what we're talking about, anchored in cement. And so number one, science. Number two is the personal experience of people that you meet in our Neumi family and your personal experience. See, when I call this girl in Canada and her experience on that new product, she'll tell me her experience. I may well forget her name. I will never forget her experience. When I hear experiences of people, it literally permanently lodges in my brain. So then anytime anybody asks me, well, how would it do with this? I'll instantly be able to draw on any of those experiences. So what are we made our foundation, the well-founded, confident belief is in the science and our personal testimonies. One thing I love about what I'm hearing about horses that are being put on this by their trainers and by vets, what I like about it is there's no placebo effect with animals. So when you go to present something in human terms, everybody wants to see a double-blind, placebo-based test. One group's on placebo, one group's on the product. They don't know which one they're on, and their doctor doesn't even know which one they're on, and they will tell you that's the only valid test. You don't have to have a placebo with an animal. They don't know the difference. So any results you get from an animal are pretty well anchored in concrete because there's no placebo effect that you have to figure for. And so I'm going to spend time with Christy and her friends. And then I'm going to, Christy, by the way, is coming, and her trainer, she told me yesterday, her trainer is coming to our birthday party. So I'll have a chance to have conversation with them then. But I can't wait to go to Calgary and meet with the vets and meet with the people that have seen the experiences. That charges me up. You know, that motivates me for another whole year. Every year I'm re-energized by people's stories, and the stories are truly amazing. And see, we haven't talked science today, but most of you have been on our calls. You know the science. Glutathione, simply stated, is the most important molecule. Oh, look at there. Now that's Ronan. Now, what's so funny? He sent me that before and after. Look at that. Is that crazy? And he said, now, Steve, the afters for us is always on the left side because we read right to left instead of left to right. But now the after is on the correct side. No, wait, the afters is on the left side on that picture. So anyway, but the nice thing is that we work so well on skin, we've got the best before and afters of any company in the world. Now, one assignment that I've given a number, and this is our second to last day on this 90-day run. And but I've given this assignment before, and I hope you've taken me seriously, but I'll repeat it again because people always say, how do you, Ryan one time made the statement to somebody, everybody my dad talks to ends up trying the product. And people have said, how do you get so many? Well, I don't say I'm the founder of, and because one of our distributors in Australia said, it's no fair. You're the founder and you can rely on that. And you know all these celebrities and you can rely on that and everything. That's not what I rely on. I show them the before and afters. And I have some before and afters that you don't have because you're not allowed to publicize some of those. But I have before and afters, and I have an unpaid medical advisory board. We're the only not-for-profit, we're the only for-profit company in the world that has an unpaid medical board from places like Stanford, Harvard, Mayo Clinic, Texas Heart Institute, Baylor Medical, and on and on. We have more than one. Like we have like 3 guys that were Harvard and Harvard Medical. And these are a number of our doctors have international practices that aren't confined just to the United States. In fact, Dr. Crozier, the Crozier Clinic, has patients come from all over the world. But the cardiologist that's on our medical board, she has a practice in Dubai and she has a practice in Houston, Texas. Our Chinese doctor, who's both a PhD and an MD from Mayo Clinic, he has a practice in Beijing and he has a practice in Orange County. And in fact, he's a professor of the #1 medical school in China. And these guys, you don't buy these guys. You don't say, okay, let's see, I'll pay. And I'll ask people, and people will say, oh, I'm part of a new network marketing company, and we have a great product that does this, this, this. I'll say, who's on your medical board? And usually they get a blank look, but sometimes they'll say, oh, Dr. Julie. And then I look up Julie's credentials. Oh my gosh. Wouldn't brag about that. And then I look up, I ask the question, is she paid or unpaid? Oh, I don't know. Well, guess what? If it doesn't say unpaid, she's paid. No credibility. You look at our doctors and there is credibility out the kazoo. Just one of our doctors was not only on the Stanford heart transplant team, but he has co-created over 200 medical therapeutic technologies in cardiovascular disease treatment and in cancer treatment that today are in the medical world being used by thousands of doctors every single day around the world. And he's on our medical board. And he has had tons and tons of clients. I mean, he knows what our product does. Now, he's been a glutathione fan for almost as long as I have. But he had this deal with the lesser technologies. Our technology, the problem with glutathione, for those of you that don't know, is delivery. Glutathione cannot make it through the stomach unless you wrap it with a fat called a liposome. But that adds both bulk to the molecule, and the liposomes introduce other problems. If they do make it into the cell, they don't make it into all the cells because they're too big. But when they do make it into some, now you've put a fat in the cell. Fats aren't water soluble. You got to get that fat out of the cell somehow. And guess what? It doesn't get out most of the time. Also, liposomes are rancid. What we did, we found a way to encapsulate the molecules in ultra pure reorganized water. What's reorganized means? It means we did something with those little hydrogen molecules that make the water very, very absorbable into every aspect of the body. It is a dream come true for me. I've been in the glutathione space since 2006, and this technology has answered every problem that has faced delivery. And consequently, we see things nobody else in the world has ever seen. And all of you have heard the story. I don't know. Do we have anybody new today? If we have somebody new.
I believe there's a couple of them, Steve, and someone was asking about what does glutathione do?
Okay, let me tell you what glutathione does. Thank you, Keith. Glutathione is your body's miracle molecule. It performs over 400 functions. There'd be no life on Earth without it. No oxygen transfer. It's hard to live without oxygen. Glutathione is the sole reduction agent for hemoglobin, which allows hemoglobin, when that reduction takes place, to bond to oxygen. But that's one of 400 functions. Glutathione is the detoxifier of the cell. Everybody on this call has over 200 industrial chemicals in their body right now that don't belong there. And glutathione is the detoxifier. Yes, sir.
You need to cut the call short.
Because?
Advisory board meeting.
Huh?
Advisory board meeting.
Oh, your medical advisory board?
Yes.
Oh, what time is that supposed to start?
2:30.
Okay. I'll go 5 more minutes. Can you let the board know? Or there's
They're
someone?
going to be on Neumi TV.
Oh, our medical board, some of our medical board members, okay, I'll be off. We're going to cut this one short. To find out about the science, you newbies, tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, and 5 Pacific, I'll be doing a full 45-minute call. You'll see the science. You'll see the before and afters. I apologize, but booked right up against this. We have an international medical board. So we book at times when we can get some of the doctors on, and they're all over the world. So it's not easy finding a common time. The fact that it's at 2:30 today tells me we won't have anybody from the Southern Hemisphere because it's 6. Well, we might because it's 6:30 in the morning in some places in Australia. But anyway, I'm going to have to cut this one short. I apologize. First time we've ever had to cut one short. But please join us tonight for the full thing, or tomorrow at 2:00. We will Mountain Time. That won't be cut short. But now we're going to have to say goodbye. Keith, thank you for hosting this call today. And all of you, I apologize. I think, Christy, we talked yesterday, but if I didn't talk with you yesterday, I'll call you today, but I'm pretty sure we talked. But after I finish the medical call, then I'll reach out to you, Christy, and there's a few other people I need to reach out to. So thank you so much, and I apologize once again. I didn't know we had a medical board call.
No worries. Thanks, Steve.
Okay. God bless you all, and we'll see you soon.
Tonight and tomorrow.
Tonight and tomorrow. Amen.